Hey guys, Nayan this side. In case you're watching me for the first time, I was a Clat 2023 aspirant and I've secured an All India rank 905 in the exam. So in today's video, I'm gonna be walking you through the entire Clat exam pattern and the syllabus that you'll be needing to cover to clear the exam. And I'll be going through section by section. I'll be covering all the 5 sections. So guys, to start off, since you know that prior to 2019, Clat used to be of 200 marks and there were 200 questions which you needed to solve in 120 minutes. But ever since 2022, the pattern has changed a little bit, and then after that we've got only 150 marks and 150 questions that you need to attempt, and the time frame has remained the same, though the paper has gotten a little bit more lengthier than what it used to be earlier. Before, it used to be a very short passages which you needed to solve and then just give the answer, but now the length of the passages and the number of words that you need to cover in these 2 hours has gone up exponentially. So in Clat we've got 5 sections. The first section is reading comprehensions, which contains approximately 28 to 32 questions. The second is GK and current affairs, which carries 35 to 39 questions. In the third section, we've got legal reasoning, which also carries approximately 35 to 39 questions. In fourth part, we've got logical reasoning, which contains around 28 to 32 questions. And in the end, there's quantitative techniques or quantitative aptitude, that's maths. So there are approximately 13 to 17 questions that are there in these sections. So this is the section wise breakup of the exam. This is how your 150 marks are divided into 5 different subjects or 5 different parts, as you may call it. So the first section in Clat is a reading comprehension or the RC section. This section contains 6 passages which contain 5 questions each. Each passage contains about 250 to 300 words, and the questions that follow are based on the passage itself. To ace this section, you'll have to be an avid reader and must practice a lot of passages. Since the passages that are coming in this section are quite big, so you'll have to be quite a quick reader and you have to be able to read around, I would say, 100 to 150 words a minute. That'll be a good number, so that you'll be able to cover up the section as fast as possible. There are a lot of contextual vocabulary questions that are asked in this section, so you'll need to work on your vocabulary a lot. So I would suggest you read lots of passages and develop a habit of reading. You may read books, novels, or maybe the newspaper, but whatever you do, you have to create that habit of reading. So next up, we have GK and current affairs section. In this section, there are about 35 to 37 questions which are asked from the things that are happening in and around the country, the current affairs especially. To ace this section, you'll need to have a good knowledge about the current affairs, the GK, the static GK too, because sometimes they do ask some questions that are relating to static GK also. So I would suggest that you work hard and prepare well for this section, because this is one where you can score marks, and with that you can also save a lot of time in this section, because GK is something that if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. So if you are sincere from the beginning and you are thorough with the current affairs and all that's happening in and around you and in and around the country, then there's a high probability that you'll be able to do good in this section. And I would say about 25 to 27 marks would be a really good score for this section. Next, we have the legal aptitude section. This section is the most important section of the examination, and it contains about 35 to 37 questions, just like that in the current affairs section. Here you're given long passages and which are followed with principles which you'll need to apply and answer the questions that follow. You don't need to learn or remember any kind of laws, but just keep a basic understanding about the laws. Next is the logical reasoning section. This section contains about 25 to 30 questions, And the questions in these sections are critical reasoning questions such as arguments, assumptions, inferences, strengths, weaknesses, parallel reasoning, and logical flaws. Here too you are given long passages, and on the basis of that passage you have to answer the questions that follow. I'll be making a separate video very soon relating this topic. Lastly is the maths section, which is the quantitative aptitude section. Here you'll be asked elementary level maths from relating to 10th and 11th standard, such as linear equations, averages, percentage, profit and loss, SI and CI, ratio proportion, and permutations and combinations. So for this section, if you are thorough with class 10th and 11th standard maths, then you'll be doing good enough here. But this is quite a lengthy section, so that's why mostly CLAT aspirants, whenever they attempt the questions, they attempt this section the last, because this is a really time consuming section and it contains about 15 questions. And as you can see here, I've written very few analytical reasoning questions will be asked in CLAT. But except for CLAT, the other papers like such as SLAT, LSAT, and all these other aptitude tests, they usually contain about 70% of analytical reasoning questions, which are the short type of questions. Whereas in CLAT, it is totally passage-based questions. So you'll be asked to answer the questions on the basis of the long passages that will be given to you. And each passage will contain about 250 to 300 words. So that was it, guys. That's all the syllabus that you need to cover to clear CLAT examination. In the end, my personal experience from CLAT is that CLAT is more or less a passage and paragraph based examinations. In order to clear CLAT, you'll need to work hard on your reading skills and you'll need to develop a habit of reading. If you are able to develop a good habit of reading and cover all the various aspects of the syllabus, then I'm sure that you'll be able to get a good score and clear the exams.